So I'm not really going to be putting in a full day on this car, but just updating, I guess. I was given this Turner power steering underdrive, so I guess I'll throw that on there. And then I finally remembered to order epoxy. So there's new epoxy setting on the back of the intake manifold. Once that's set up later today, after this manual swap I'm doing on the C46, I should be able to actually bolt let's see here, bolt the intake manifold back on. Let's see here. I'm just realizing I'm missing some parts. I ordered all new exhaust and intake manifold hardware from Blunt Tech. It's probably in the bag in the basement. I should probably go check. But beyond that, really, it's just a few wire plugs underneath, hooking up the fuel rail, getting that all set in. And then I have to deal with my old laptop and the Miller War software to try to get that computer flashed with the Turbo Tune. If I can't get it flashed with the Turbo Tune, it has an NA tune on it right now, so I can plug in a stock mass airflow and some stock injectors and at least run the car. It still needs the late model slave cylinder right there. Finally ordered that. But other than that, I really can't think of too many reasons why it would need to be up in the air, so I may move this car downstairs over the winter just so the lift is free for projects here and there. I still have to make a downpipe, which is going to involve cutting this bracket off, relocating the clutch fluid reservoir, which I may have to route through there, up here or something, cut a little bit of that metal away, and then here's my new Deca battery, which is a really nice piece. It's only rated at 400 cranking amps, but this is not a cold weather car. That should be plenty for a lowered compression S52. So I will start on that at some point. I'm still debating whether or not I have my friend cut off and plug this external wastegate tube. There's no way I can ever run an external gate on there just due to the arrangement. I could run one off the front potentially, but it'd have to be open vent, and that's just not that good. So I do still have that modified turbo compressor housing, but it's not here because I'm smart. Let's see what else. Really isn't a whole lot. Doesn't have oil in it yet. Not tapped yet, but I have the drain fittings here. I've got my tap sitting over there. It's just been a whole bunch of projects, and I also started a new job again a few weeks ago here, so I'm finally settling in there, getting a little more schedule flexibility, which is going to be great for wrenching on these projects. But yeah, just kind of checking in with an update here. I don't want to leave you guys hanging on this build. It is still going. It will still get done. I'm not giving up on it. It's just lots of stuff going on, prepping for the probably fairly severe Minnesota winter we're going to have here this year. So even though it's early December, there's no snow outside. Kind of weird. Anyway, thanks for watching as always. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, anything like that if you want. Otherwise, the content will keep coming either way. Well, since I had to run home in the middle of my last project, I grabbed the turbo compressor housing and just kind of sizing it up. It's not quite perfect, but I think with a little modification and some silicone, I'll make it work. It's a lot better than it was. It's a super harsh angle, which is unfortunate for airflow, but it's really all the room there is to work with over there. So I think the epoxy is probably dry now. I may spend the rest of my evening throwing that on, but unfortunately my parts order came up short. It didn't have the intake manifold hardware, even though it did have the exhaust hardware. So anywho, that's where it is for right now, but it's looking like that'll work, so it's a good thing. Well, I'm back at it again on day 2 for Brexit. Today I'm gonna top up the transmission, make sure that's got fluid in it, try to install the shifter linkage. Gotta fill up the differential with fluid because that's still bone dry. I have to drill and tap the oil pan for an oil return. I have to put some hardware on the studs. Oh, I guess this was already full. Hold on. Well, transmission's full, moving on to the differential. While that's going, since it's gear oil and very slow, I have to replace this E30 style slave cylinder with the new E3646 style, which I have right here. This bad boy transmission, the ZF transmission, uses a different slave cylinder, so just gonna bolt that up, bleed it, get it into the transmission. I was mentioning I do still have to fit the oil drain. I'm probably gonna go right there into the pan with my 3/8 NPT. Not sure what else I'm doing under here today. I keep finding other stuff I have to do. I think at this point I'm ready to put the heat shield back on once I get the rest of the shifter linkage installed. You can see I've got the aluminum arm up in there now. I do still have to swivel the bitch clip, so I'm gonna have to drop the back at the trans a little bit and swing that over. But it's not too bad, so I might do that yet. Pumping the diff full of fluid's gonna take quite a while. Gear oil goes pretty slow, but still it's way better than pumping it by hand. So there's that so far. So there, you can see the nice clean tapped hole. You can actually see quite a bit inside the engine from there. There's the oil pump. Interesting. Cool. Anyway, I'm gonna drop the car down, get my fitting, and then pop that in real quick. The diff is all full, trans is full, new slave is on and bled. I do still have to drop the back of the transmission to finish the shift linkage and put the slave in the transmission due to not very much room to work. Here we are. Tapped -10, 3/8 NPT. So that's gonna end up probably being a 90-degree fitting and then running up to the -10 on the bottom of that turbo there, which is gonna be a tight fit. So actually, that looks like that's all the space I have to drop a down pipe through here. Not a whole lot. I don't really want to notch the frame rail. I'm hoping I can squeeze a 2.5-inch pipe through there. I may have to switch out to E46 steering shafts. We'll see. At least the clutch line does not interfere with it, it looks like, so I won't have to move anything hardpoint wise. But that is not a lot of room to squeeze a down pipe through. I can get a much better view of external wastegate flange. No room.